Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Silver Surfer, Ghostlight, issue number 1. This freaking book, man, this promises, let me take a look at this front cover again. This book promises to be the next great superhero saga, and it starts here. Is that true? Nah. No, it's not. Sorry. Nice try. It's not bad, but there are some bad parts. We're going to talk about all that good stuff in just a minute. Let's get talking about who made this book. John Jennings is the writer. Valentin DeLandro is the artist. Matt Mila on colors. VC's Joe Sabino doing the letters, and Torrin Clark on cover. Mark Chico and Torrin Clark do variant cover art. And yeah, we're going to move on from there. Silver Surfer was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Ghostlight is the name of the new character who's going to be in here. Now, if you go back, this story is based off of a story, and it takes forever to freaking get there. This story is based on the first run of the Silver Surfer. That's Silver Surfer Volume 1, issue number 5. This was back in 1969. April is the cover date. By Stan Lee and John Buscema. There's this character, Al B. Harper, Uncle Al, in this book. And interesting story. I remember reading a long time ago. I read the synopsis, and that's pretty much the crux of the book. Al is this guy who, when the Silver Surfer was trying to escape from Earth, he fell back down because, if you remember, and it's important to remember, Galactus put this curse on him. He said, "Oh, since you wanted to help out the Fantastic Four, I curse you to stay here forever." Now, eventually in the book, in that comic series, he's able to escape because they realize how the curse was put on him. And once he was able to truly break the curse, he was able to get out of it. And it was actually pretty detailed. And it's the Thing who actually figured out, which was awesome. But until then, Norrin Radd was trying to figure this stuff out himself, and he was messing up drastically. In this case, he was able to get out, but he had to come back because a physicist, Al, Uncle Al, had to help him out to escape. But he had to come back because the Earth was threatened by the Stranger, and he came back, and then he got stuck again. And Al wound up dying, defusing a bomb that the Stranger put up, an ancient alien being, all on his own. Al was able to do that. So a ridiculously intelligent individual. And I dug that. It was actually a fun story. It really was, you know? Was this story actually done well? Well, kind of. The art in this book is one that is going to immediately make you go, most likely go, "Oh, who's this indie guy?" Look, I get it. A lot of comic books, you know, they have that indie feeling, like stuff that you'll see in Image comic books or someplace else where it doesn't look like it's a professional thing. Sometimes it's just a style, and it is what it is. And honestly, 2 pages in, if you remember your initial complaints, then the comic book is simply not for you. But I read this comic book all the way through. I really did like a lot of it, and the art didn't mean anything to me. You know what I'm saying? It didn't bother me at all. That first initial look where I went, "Oh, bleh," on the art. After that, it was gone, and it was fine, and didn't bother me at all. That happens with a lot of stuff, right? Kelly Thompson's Black Cloak was one of those for me also. It initially turned me off, and after a while, it's like, whatever. It's just the style, and they're choosing to do this style. And this style is definitely a choice. This is not their whole bag of tricks, right? Moving on from that with the writing. Listen. Look, I'm just saying, I get it. John Jennings is black. I know that because I had to look him up. I realized that Kindred, he actually wrote Kindred. I remember reading that a while ago. It was actually a pretty good story. All intents and purposes, a pretty good story. Wrote a whole bunch of other things. Black Kirby, In Search of Black Kirby. I didn't read that, but a whole bunch of other things and whatnot, which, not bad. Okay, I get it. So this guy's kind of into the Afrocentric Afrofuturism, right? It's Afrocentric, pretty, you know, we want to talk about and focus on black people. Okay, cool. That's a niche. Go for it. That's your niche, bud. And then Afrofuturism is sci-fi, but for black people. Which is, for me, like, I get it, but when if you say something like white futurism, then that's racist. It's just one of those things. You either get it or you don't, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's going to have their own opinion on this, that, and the other thing. And quite frankly, I don't give a funk what your freaking issue is, right? It's just, it is what it is. I guess it's a way to try and market to black people that, hey, here's this thing, because nobody knew that black people could write, apparently. Which is odd, because black people have written for a really long time. I'm just saying. Anyway. Yeah, Badang, you have got this very cool story that comes from back in the day that's being revisited today, and they're going to take this character, first appearance, issue number 5 of the original run. They're going to bring this character back as this character called Ghost Light. I'm digging this. I'm all in. I'm all on board for this. The problem is the speech. Not the parts of speech or anything like that, or the vocabulary in particular. Oh no, it was something entirely different. It's the way that speech was used in this. If John Jennings were white, I would say this is very problematic, because this clearly sounds like a non-black person trying to sound black, which is especially disturbing considering the fact that John Jennings is in fact black. Guys, look, if I were writing this story, all right, and I were writing as a white person trying to sound white, street racing, this is how it would sound. Oh, hi everyone. My name is William, but my friends call me Bill. And as I feel that we will be friends, I think you could just call me Bill, because we're buds, right? I think you and I are going to get along just swell. If you have any questions, I'll be over here at my desk eating a cheese sandwich, right? And it'll be like, oh, this guy's trying to act white. So what would be talking black? Well, it would be this comic book, for the most part. I get it that the kid is telling his mom or his grandmother, he's calling her Big Mama just, because, and he also says it about his mom, Big Mama, and I get it. And it's cool that you want to listen to John that you listen to John Coltrane and Howling Wolf and all this. I listen to blues also. I also listen to jazz, because there's some jazz, John Coltrane, right? I listen to all sorts of music also. The second to last Police album, you mean the penultimate? Yes, that one, right? Just conservation of words, bud. I mean, if this kid knows all this stuff, why wouldn't he know the word penultimate? Excuse me for thinking outside the box, but here you go. This kid is like, everything just kind of works too well for each other. And the father talks very white. He talks very white. He'll say things like Boogaboo Bear and things like that. And, he talks very white, even though he's black. The mother, who is black, she's got her very wavy hair. I think they're braids that she's wearing. I don't remember what they're called. Braids, I always imagine the little, like when you do pigtails, you French braid the hair, and then you put isn't it called, you put the braids, those two big, like marbles that are attached by a figure 8 string, right? I don't know, whatever. Anyway. I'm just saying, I would have known these characters are black since it's a comic book. And there's some good points made in here. Oh, you brought me to this, backwoods country neighborhood where I'm going to be going to school and I'm going to be the only black girl here. Okay, clearly she's black. Is she actually going to be the only black girl there? Highly unlikely. But that being said, there you go. The mom speaks very wannabe black. Actually black? Heck no. Heck no. Come on. Like, nobody talks like this. Nobody talks like this. On top of that, all the black households I've ever been in, and you tell me if I'm wrong on this, I have never, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I've never seen it where the father talks very white, but the mother talks very black. I'm surprised she didn't say at one point, honey, you can kiss my black ass. I honestly imagined that. And in that case, I would have told this comic book to kiss my black ass. This was like, it was so bad the way mom was talking. In every household I've ever been in, mom and dad are both black. It's usually always been the reverse. Dad speaks very black. Mom speaks very, well, not white, but she focuses on good grammar. And she expects the kids to do the same thing. We don't talk with that street talk in my house. You're going to speak properly. It's always been the mom who's done that. This is reversed. Now, I have seen one case of this in my life. My entire 47 years on this planet, I have seen one case where the mom talked especially black, like in here, and the dad talked very white. You've actually seen the same household. It was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's the only time I've ever seen that. In my life, that's the only time I've ever seen that. Both Aunt Vivs, especially the first one, talked very Blackanese. If you're not familiar with the term Blackanese, you need to get out more, because Blackanese is freaking hysterical. And it's not a way of speaking. It's a way of describing things. What's my wife says this all the time. It's freaking hysterical every time she does it. I'm like, babe, is the brown sugar and whatnot. That's the thing I did last time. It's like, babe, is the brown sugar good? Because it's really hard. She's like, technically, no. Blackanese, yes. I'm like, I fucking love it. Love it. Love it. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, my wife's black. She's not racist for saying that. She's black. Anyway, and Uncle Phil, like, I'm surprised they didn't make the father with a big belly and bald and taller, you know? Where was Carlton during all this? Like, it was so bad. Like they were trying so hard. John Jennings was trying so hard to make this a black comic that at one point, like, the daughter's name is Tony. I swear to God, it was spelled Toni, which, fine. I expected at some point somebody to bring up Tony. If you're not familiar with Tony, that's fine. You know or you don't know. Like, if you know, you know, right? I'm just saying, feels good. Yeah. It is what it is, all right? I swear to God, I genuinely expected them to at one point bring that up. Maybe that's an issue too. The only problem I had with this comic book is exactly this. The language used in here to make sure that in case you're blind, I don't know how you'd read this comic book, in case somebody's reading to you and didn't describe that the people, every single person in this comic book was in fact black, including the Silver Surfer. Let's be realistic. I know Norrin Radd is white, but the Silver Surfer is black AF. And every single person here knows that. Every single person here knows that Blaster and Jazz from the Transformers were black AF. Soundwave, probably black also, right? Like, I mean, like, let's be real. Panthro, right, from the Thundercats, dude was black, okay? Chitara may have had a white booty, but she was definitely black, right? It's one of those kind of things. I'm just saying that. And everybody here who knows, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Look, I love these kinds of conversations. They're so much fun. It was clear that these people were black because we have eyes and it's a comic book and there's a colorist here. You don't have to try and make them talk black. You don't need to do that. And this was just there's some parts in here that were kind of outrageous to look at, to read. So, yeah. Good story. I mean, it took a long time to get to where we were going. They were bringing up Sasquatch from the Alpha Flight. They were bringing up Doctor Strange from, Doctor Strange. He was in a couple of movies, for Christ's sake. Anyway, he's the guy doing the like an Ozzy Osbourne video. Pop culture references. I don't know, man. Like, everybody was black in here. It's pretty freaking obvious, right? But, like, for all intents and purposes, it took a while to get to the actual crux of the story, which is fine. You were establishing characters who I hope that there's a point to establishing these characters, because it feels like you were just throwing stuff out there because you didn't want to get to the story yet. You wanted to build up tension. F tension, all right? Only give me characters who we're actually ever going to see again, all right? Who it actually matters, the things that you're telling us about. But I like the story. I like the backstory. I like the idea of they use something from the past, right? I really did love so much about everything that was brought up here. Sweetwater at this point actually feels like a true, real, genuine place to me. And I might actually find it on Google Earth. I don't know. You might look up Sweetwater, look up and see me doing this. You know, so you never know. Google satellites, you never know. But my point is, like, this actually did feel like there was time spent in the plot and in the story and building some character. Even the little stuff where it's like, you know, this kid just happened to have all the right stuff to get down into this thing with Al and, you know, the ghost light and all that other stuff. It's cool. It is what it is. But don't try so hard to make a character sound black. Because with all due respect, that's fucking racist. That's exactly what it is. Not all black people talk like that. Having somebody talk like that in here and it feeling so forced, it just comes across as racist. Like, don't do it. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you come from and you write black stuff and you do black things and you eat black food and you black. Nobody gives a fuck. If it's coming across as forced, you messed up. You messed up. If John Jennings sees this, I like your work, dude, but stop trying so hard. I'll tell this to the man's face. You know what I'm saying? Writing is writing. And that's all it is. That's all it is. A racist white person would try and make a white story. A racist black person would try to make a black story. Having white and black characters in your story, only white characters, only black stories, does not make something white or black or Indian or indigenous or any other shade of brown or whatever, right? Nobody cares. You can make a story. But like if a Chinese person were to write a Chinese story and at one point have everybody saying chin chang chung chung chung, I must eat my egg noodles and rice and I'm going down to hang out with Fu Manchu, and you would sit there and say, I don't think this person's really Chinese. I don't think this person's really Asian. Right? You would say that. Because I would sure as hell say that. This is one of those things where it's like, bud, if you're black, you're black. For the most part, nobody cares. You want to write a story with all black people? Do it. But come on, man. Don't try so hard. Because this feels forced. And forcing something like that comes across as a little problematic. Now that I've brought this entire review full circle, I do still recommend getting this book. I hope that the forced black speak in this ends because, you know, it's a comic book and we just have to look to see that the person's black. I mean, it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Hopefully that's not what she said. Anyway, yeah, guys, go ahead and consider checking out this book. This does look like it's actually going to lead someplace. This actually looks like it's... I do hope that we have, if he's written well, I do hope that we have this character Ghostlight as another character. It'd be great to have another superhero out there. Superhero color, I can give a fuck. I can give a rat's ass. Make him a good superhero character. I don't care what he looks like, all right? We've got characters out there called Purple Man, who, like, crazy, insane freaking villain, and he's purple. And we're just like, this guy's terrifying. I would love to see more about him. You know what I'm saying? Best part of Jessica Jones, the 10th Doctor, for crying out loud, right? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And if you care too hard, you might be a racist. Go ahead and check this book out. I'll talk to you guys later. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bell, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.